Everything, everything gonna be all right this morning.
All right, sir, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for joining me for another episode of It's Me Speaking to You. I am, as always, your ever faithful host, Mr. Jeffrey Wilson, coming to you live and direct from the gateway to the West. And today, we are bringing some heat. We are bringing some iron, in fact, today, ladies and gentlemen. I have to thank him so very much for taking time, first, out of his schedule, and secondly, for not Twitter blocking me for my numerous media requests or even getting a restraining order or whatever, because I was hounding my man. I was stalking him for a minute trying to get him on the show. My persistence has paid off, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome, straight from the valley of the motherfucking beast, it is C.T. Fletcher. How are you, sir?
Big Jeff, I am very good, and your persistence did pay off, and I said, fuck, I better hurry up and talk to this guy. It took a while though, but I appreciate your persistence and tenacity, because without it, I probably wouldn't have done it, but I really appreciate that.
Well, that's what it's Still Your Motherfucking Said is all about. Unchain your mind. My magnificent obsession, that whole philosophy, man, you just cannot quit. And I was trying to walk that fine line, being professional, maybe give you a tweet, then a couple weeks later give you a tweet. I didn't want to do like daily tweets, and like I told you, until you told me to fuck off and no, I was going to keep coming at you. So I'm glad it did pay off.
No, you did. Every time you did it, with respect, and I can deal with that, man. No problem. It's never a bother. We got people who ask you to do things, but they're very disrespectful in the manner that they do it.
Right.
And then, I just block the fuck out of them.
Right.
You're very professional, very respectful, so you weren't a bother at all.
I definitely appreciate that. So like I said off air, I'm going to try to save. CT is a global figure. If you're not one of the tens of millions of individuals who have seen his videos, I'm going to try to break down, if you don't mind. So bear with me, CT, just a brief bio of like everything, not everything you've done, but kind of your beginnings and your accomplishments. So, CT was born in Arkansas, raised in Compton, California, had a beautiful, loving, caring, nurturing mother. His father was a Pentecostal preacher who, in CT's own words, used to whoop his ass for sport. Coming out of high school, he joined the Army. Getting out of the Army, that's when he started, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, CT, started getting more into the bodybuilding and powerlifting. And this is, where he began his, really his taking over the world. 6-time world champion, and that's 3-time world bench press champion, 3-time world drug-free strict curl champion. And, honestly, if you see some of the videos of CT back in the day, to maintain that mammoth physique, this dude was eating a lot, and he just wasn't eating a lot of good stuff. For instance, 20 years, right? 20 years at the same McDonald's, 4 Big Macs, 4 fries, 2 shakes, 4 apple pies for 20 years. So clearly, this wound up creating some health problems, which exacerbated a pre-existing hypertension condition and wind up creating congestive heart failure. He wound up having emergency heart surgery, dying on the operating table 3 times. He flatlined. And, following that, had a very rough recuperation and is today doing and living and having the very thing that he said he would not have, and that is a second chance. C.T. Fletcher, thank you so very much. I know that was a small encapsulation. What are you doing with that second chance, man? I see you are all over the world, my friend. What are you up to?
Jeff, that was pretty goddamn good, man.
Man, I tried to encapsulate a lot into a little bit, man. And
yeah, you summed up damn near 40 years in about 15 seconds, man. That's talent.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm doing my absolute best to make up for lost time, because, Jeff, I don't think that I deserved a second chance by any stretch of the imagination. I don't think I deserved it at all. And so I want to take advantage of it. And my mission, I call my magnificent obsession. It was, they had the biggest fucking arms in the world. That was my thing. I used to go in the gym and do nothing but fucking curls for an hour and a half or 2 hours or however long I was in there. And I did that for a year and a half because I just wanted to have the biggest fucking arms on the planet. And I want it to be unanimous. When everybody says, who's got the biggest arms? Who got the biggest arms in the world? CT motherfucking Fletcher. I want everybody to be, and you know, it's hard to get everybody to agree on one fucking thing. So that's what I was trying to do. But now, after, you know, the second chance, I got totally, that shit don't even matter to me now. Everybody's arms is bigger than mine now. There's women out there with arms bigger than mine.
I don't know about that.
The only thing that matters now is if I can help somebody, you know, by telling my story, let me know what I went through. If it helps them, and I get letters every day, messages every day that somebody telling me that it's unbelievable stories that people say how, you know, something that I said helped change their life or help even save their life. And then that's so infinitely more important than my arms and anything else that I did, you know, before this time. So it's just great. I just appreciate my time.
Well, and it's absolutely true, CT. I mean, everything, and it's so beautiful, your kind of your mantra, your philosophy, because it really has transcended working out. You know what I mean? It really is kind of a life philosophy. And I mean, not to tell you my tale of woe, because we all have them, but I was in a pretty rough spot a few years ago and was kind of coming out of it, man. And I was really kind of, as you said in your video, which really spoke to me, I was really unchaining my mind. And when I did find you and found that video, it was just like that spark, man. And it was like that huge spark that I needed. I'm telling you, CT, I have gym days where I call myself having an off day, not going to the gym, but I still want to throw you on and listen. By the end of the damn video, I got my bag in my hand and I'm out the door. You know what I mean? This is like you have inspired, man, and what you have done really has transcended the gym, man, and it really has changed my life. In the last 2 years, man, since I was going through all my shit, I'm telling you, CT, I produced a talk show. I now host a talk show here in St. Louis. I produce and host this podcast. You know, one of my first guests I had on my podcast was UFC Hall of Famer Pat Miletich. And when I went to do it, everyone was like, nah, man, he's never, you know, he's a UFC Hall of Famer. You haven't even done one show and all that shit. If I would have listened to their psychology and them putting their narrative on me, I wouldn't have done it. And not only have I had Pat on, you know, once, he's been on 4 times. And after the fourth time, CT, he asked me to co-host a podcast with him, which we now do call The Conspiracy Farm. So I'm telling you, folks, man, it all starts with that basic foundation of belief. You know, you can lead a person or, you know, horse to water, but you can't make them drink. And you definitely, sir, again, thank you so very much for helping unchain my mind and help point me in that right direction.
Well, like I said, you know, hey, you did it, man. Fuck impossible. You know what I mean? People say it can't happen. It won't. You can't. Man, if you let people's limitations, let them set your limitations, you won't ever do a goddamn thing. So, you know, fuck them. Fuck. And by the way, Pat Miletich is a legend, man. He is a legend. I have a ton of respect for that guy.
Oh yeah, man. He's a stud, man. Like I said, he's been very gracious. You know, came on 4 times. And like I said, I'm just happy to kind of have unlocked my brain, because it's, you know, really, man, I'm finding out I can do shit that I just never really thought I could do, because sometimes, you know, I wasn't being my higher self. And you definitely helped people, you know, with your mantras, with your philosophies, with your brash aggressiveness, helps people kind of unlock their brain a little bit. So, and a foundation of that, CT, is it's still your motherfucking set. And everyone, you know, that is everywhere now, along with some of your other, you know, expressions. But if you don't mind, you know, I'm not going to ask you to save your breath on this one, because it's still your motherfucking set did not come from the gym, from my understanding of your life. Where did It's Still Your Motherfucking Set come from? Who taught you that? Not by saying it, but by spirit, if you will, and action.
Right. Exactly. And so you know the story already because you said that. And you're right. You're absolutely right. It was by action and from my observance of my mother, who was ill for a great deal of her adult life. I remember, you know, very briefly in my, you know, early years, 5, 6, 7 years old, when my mother was healthy and strong. But after that time, she had very bad lung condition, tuberculosis and psychosis of the lungs, and she was in and out of the hospital for, you know, most of my growing up years. And I watched her suffer almost every day for, you know, until she passed away for the rest of her life. But never one time did I ever hear my mother say anything other. If you ask her, Mrs. Fletcher, how are you? She would always say, I'm blessed. And she never complained about anything. She said, I just take it, man. She'd be in the hospital under oxygen tent, and if she could smile, if she was aware that you were there, she would smile. And so she was my example, man. She showed me what real strength, real power really is. It's not this physical strength. It's not how much you can lift. It's not how high you can jump or how fast you can run. The real strength is the inner strength, the will of a human being, which is made up on the inside. That is still your motherfucking set. You can, no matter what comes, no matter what happens, Jeff, it's still your motherfucking set. You live it, you can make it, man.
I feel you, man, and it's so powerful, man. It really is, and it's something that's really, like I said, I keep saying it's transcended, man, throughout the world. Like you're huge in Russia. You know what I mean? Who would have thought you'd be huge? You know what I mean? It's how do you the video that I kind of got me was the strongest man you've never heard of. I think it was called. And so that was really my introduction to you, and that was so many years ago. Literally, CT, your videos have tens of millions of views, and your life has changed so very much. And one thing I've had on martial artists on my shows, and like Pat, and you maintain that humility and that humble pie is always on your plate. What is it like, brother? Your life has changed so much, and you're a worldwide figure, and you're just, I'm not gonna, you might take exception to this, but you're on some Muhammad Ali stuff, the way you're transforming people's lives and touching people. How do you feel about that?
You know that Ali is my favorite, one of my favorite people. Forget this athlete of all time, and I definitely don't think I'm nowhere in the vicinity of him. And I know you know that, but Ali, what I do take from him that I would most like to emulate of Muhammad Ali is not being a great athlete, but the fact that he transcended his sport. I want to transcend weightlifting and not be known as just a weightlifter. I want to be known as the guy who helped people. The guy who told his story. He came from weightlifting, sure. Weightlifting is his background. He's the original Iron Addict. He came from there, but by somehow what he's gone through, what he's been through in his life, somehow can help people. If I can be known, if they forget all about the weightlifting title, that's fine with me. I just want to be known as the guy who helped as many people as he could before he left this planet. I'll be great with that.
Well, and you definitely have. Like I said, it's really gone global. So, when I just first met you a couple of years ago on video, it just slowly grew, like not even slowly, it was kind of an exponential growth. And to see where it's at now, like I said, if you want to speak a little bit about it, your expansion of the Iron Addicts brand, you're obviously out there in the Valley of the Beast, California. There's something going on in Miami, I saw, Australia. What's going on?
Yeah, I had well, first of all, you touched on Russia. I'm about to go to Russia a little later this year for the first time, and it shocked me as much as anybody, Jeff. I'm like, hey, they can't even understand what I'm saying. But it is the Russian fans are tremendous and have a giant amount of support from the Russian community, and I definitely want to go. And it's been arranged. One of their the top Russian powerlifters, I believe his name is Karel, is arranging for me to come over there in November of this year, and I can't wait. I'm highly excited about that. But yes, the Iron Addicts brand is expanding. I'll tell you the truth behind it. I only wanted one gym for myself. I just wanted one Iron Addicts gym, and I had no intention of opening others. I just wanted one small, hardcore gym that I could be myself and act the way I wanted to act and train like I wanted to train, and not an alternative to the chain gyms or commercial gyms. And I just wanted that. But Mike Rashid said, hey, Pops, I think that it would be a good idea to open this up and open up other locations. I said, nobody else will want another Iron Addicts, man. I'm the only one. I think I'm the only person out there sick enough to want one of these kind of things. It's too old school. But, you know, I was wrong. We got Miami, Las Vegas, and the next stop is Melbourne, Australia.
Man, that's huge, man. I mean, and speaking to your popularity, you know, obviously Russia, my brother, who is, you know, in his own way, you know, former Marine Corps, Iron Addict, shout out to Lance Wilson. He's one of the cats who turned me on to you, too, and he's a huge fan. And one of these days, hopefully, we like to get you guys out together and bang, because he's hardcore. He goes to the Arnold a lot, and he pretty much said you guys get more fans around your table than like a lot of the top the top bodybuilders of the day, you know. So you guys, you're huge, man.
Yeah, it's you know, and I felt that a few of those top bodybuilders were you know, like, what the fuck is this guy doing here? And who the fuck is P.T. Fletcher, and why the fuck is his line so long? But you know, it's not because you know, my best days are way behind me, and they don't understand. People are not standing in line because of monstrous arms and veins every fucking where, and you know, paper thin skin. They're standing in line because they relate somewhat to the message that I have to say, and they like hearing, and they think I'm, you know, I believe it's because they believe I'm one of them. And that's what I want. That's the message I want to get across. I'm you, motherfucker. I'm you. So that's why they're standing in line. It's definitely not, you know, like I said, everybody's bigger than me these days.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's definitely the message, man. It's huge, man. Like I said, it really is powerful because, like, one thing I really try to go for, CT, is change, evolution, and transformation, you know, towards the positive. And, you know, seeing your message, man, it's such a positive and cool thing to embrace. And I'm glad to see other people doing it, man. Millions and millions of people, hopefully they are embracing it on that way, you know, trying to be the better them, you know what I mean? Because this world, as you know, is on freaking fire. And, you know, somebody like you helps kind of bring light to that, hopefully that, you know, help people get out of this, I don't know, it's probably a little bigger than the global stuff we have going on. But, you know, you're definitely transforming people's lives, man. And that not a lot of people in the world can say that.
Well, I am absolutely doing my best, Jeff, and I will continue to do that until they throw dirt on top of my old land.
Man, I told you earlier I was watching your interview with actor Terry Crews. That was heavy, man. I did not quite expect you two to have such a common story like that. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, how the fact that you guys kind of had the similar story.
Jeff, let me tell you, I thought, personally for me, the interview was, you know, about 10 times better than the actual workout. I had no idea that Terry Crews and myself shared so much similarity in our upbringing, in the way, you know, our lives started out. I had no idea. That day was the first day I had met him, and so for me, the interview, man, I'll admit it, he damn near got me to shed a tear a couple of times when he was talking, man.
He shook you, man. He shook you.
Yeah, he shook me big time. And that day, I'll tell you this now. That day, when he came, you know, I'm 57 now, and I don't have. Every day, I don't have great days. I feel kind of shitty some days, you know, but I had, you know, that day my arthritis was acting up real bad, and it was a pain to walk. It was a pain to bend over, and I didn't feel like doing anything. I had no energy whatsoever.
You start out with deadlifts.
Yes. I couldn't even close my hand around the bar. You know, it was, my hands were so, you know, stiff from arthritis. But that guy, Terry Crews, had enough fucking energy for me and him, man. He was so excited. I'm telling you, he was so, when he first shook my hand, he got down on one knee and shook my hand. And I'm like, this guy, you know, he's fucking famous, man. He's been in the Expendables and all over fucking hit movies and shit. and for him to, he's just a very genuine, humble guy, man. And that you don't come across that too often. He moved the fuck out of me. So I really enjoyed the interview. The workout for me was hard as fuck because I was dying. Man. I could barely put one foot in front of the other. But because of his, enthusiasm and will, it made me do the little bit that I was able to do. But if it wasn't for him,
right?
Yeah, he supplied enough energy, a G-force for both of us.
Well, and also, man, it was a cool interview because he expressed kind of the same thing, and he was almost kind of moved by, how you are also transforming lives, man, and how it goes beyond just the working out. Another thing he spoke on, man, that I found was really super powerful, man. So in The Magnificent Obsession, your movie, you really go more in depth about, your father and the shit that went on in the home with your father and, the rage, you know what I mean, that you had toward and have toward him still. You even say in the interview with Terry, like, you still wake up swinging. You know what I mean? And so Terry said, like, you guys went through kind of the same shit. And so Terry, his dad abused his mom one time, and Terry and his brother beat the brakes off his dad.
Yeah.
And he thought, you like that even when Terry said it, but Terry thought that would be something cathartic. You know what I mean? That would make him feel better. And it didn't. And something I wondered in watching your movie, I'm like, and I'm not getting into your personal business. I'm like, man, have you ever had, and I'm not asking you, this is more rhetorical, have you ever got that out on your dad? I know at your mom's funeral, you went at him because he said some foul shit and you went at your dad at your mom's funeral, but obviously you haven't gotten that kind of, like you said in the interview with Terry, your dad's never said, I'm sorry. You've never kind of gotten that out of your system to beat your dad up or whatever, not to say that would be cool or whatever, but what did you think about his saying that didn't do anything for him, and later on down the line, he kind of forgave him and said, Dad, you're the reason why I'm here. Like he said in the interview, he took the higher road. You know what I mean? And you obviously have as well. What is your thoughts on that, on him saying that him beating him up didn't get anything really out of him or didn't make him feel better, and his thoughts on taking the higher road?
Right, right. He took the higher road after he took the lower road, which was beating the brakes off of him first.
Right.
And I tell you that I have no desire to beat the brakes off my dad. I had no desire to. I did. I spent a lot of my younger years wanting to do exactly what Terry did.
Right.
But at this point, what's so important to me, I found, my dad found out, I knew, he knew that, I've had, situations where I was able to tell him, that to stop doing a certain thing or I'll destroy your fucking ass. And he knew that was, inevitability. It was definitely going to happen. So he calmed down. See, when he was younger, and that he would never have, calmed. But we came to the point. I was able, and then, that relieved the physical part. I didn't want to physically beat him anymore because we both knew that he would be on, the bad end of that situation. But what I wanted, and I will admit, I still want, is for that old man. He's 85 years old, and he's last time I seen him, he was in the VA mental hospital in the mental ward, and he was fucking saluting and talking about General MacArthur and all the shit he did when he was 16 years old, because he went in the Korean War at 16 just to escape an abusive home. So what I want from that old guy is just to say, you know what, I was wrong, and I'm sorry. If I could get that, everything would be forgotten and forgiven and everything. But I'm really doubtful that that's ever going to happen. So I just have to, I forgive him as best I can, because I realize that, he had a mental imbalance when he's dealt with it. His whole from that war experience. They call it
post-traumatic.
Yes, now they do post-traumatic
shell shock back in the day.
Yes, back in the day, it was shell shock, and he's always, because whenever he flips out or goes on, that's what he goes back to. That's what he goes back to. I went over his house one time, and he's standing guard duty, man. He's walking around in the living room and asking me, "Halt, who goes there?" and looking at me like he never fucking seen me before in his life.
Whoa.
So yeah, so that's the kind of thing that I had to deal with, growing up, and my dad was loony, or he posted shell shock, and he never got over it. So but if I could just hear that old dude say, son, I was wrong, and I'm sorry, then fuck, that would make the world of difference. But I don't think it's gonna happen.
Well, an interesting thing you pointed out, a lot of these times, man, a lot of times in forgiving parents or situations like that, you realize that they didn't just come out doing that kind of behavior. They, like you just said, he came from a, abusive, so it's like he learned from, and they probably came from, so it's like a cycle. And that's the other thing about cycles, and I've talked to people about this, the beautiful thing is you and your son, you and your children, all of that are the complete opposite. So the cycle's been broken. That's like a huge thing, I think, in these kind of cycles of family kind of dysfunction, if you will. At some point in time, the line breaks, you know what I mean? And you've broken that. And obviously, your kids, your beautiful family obviously loves you a great deal.
Yeah, I think it's very important. That's one message that is very important. And no matter where you came from, where you started from, what your circumstances were, you do not have to succumb to them and, in turn continue that line of terror, or that line, you don't have to continue the wrong, break the wrong, stop the wrong, and let's try to do right, man. So I never wanted my kids to, fear me or feel like I did. Being afraid every fucking day is a horrible situation, man.
Well, I mean, especially as a kid, man, we get that downloaded as a kid, and then we just operate that program as adults, man. And like you said, you got to break the chains of fear and unchain your mind. But, it's a big process for a lot of people, man. A lot of people are going through, a lot of different stuff that keeps them from doing that. But ultimately, it's incumbent on us to try to see that, man, and become that kind of higher self, man. And hopefully, messages like yours will resonate with people who've gone through similar situations.
And also like yours, Jeff, like you getting out there saying the same things, and hopefully, some kid somewhere who's afraid of hearing the doorknob turned every time that parent comes home. It don't necessarily have to be the dad. It could be the mom, too. Yeah. They abuse kids also, but I used to fucking hate to hear my dad's keys jingling before he opened the door or coming. I hated seeing the side of his car pull down down the street, man.
That's what Terry was saying too. Yeah, seeing the car pull up everyone was having a good time till the car pulled up. You know what I mean? Then it was a different story.
Exactly. And when I heard him talk, I was, reliving my child. I said, damn, if somebody else went through this shit too.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody, feel free, everyone go check out. It's a recent interview from a few days ago. C.T. Fletcher and actor Terry Crews. He's been on a little bit of everything, Expendables, Friday After Next, etc. Man, CT, I'm not going to keep you too much longer, my man. I do want to ask you, if you don't mind, to participate in a final segment that I have on my show. It has nothing to do with weightlifting, or it's still your motherfucking set. It sounds like one of your workouts, though. It's called the Conspiracy Triangle of Doom. It is very simple. Very simple. 3 questions that I ask. You can answer yes or no, or you can expand if you want to, but a yes or no is perfectly acceptable. Are you prepared, sir, Mr. C.T. Fletcher?
I'm fucking had 40 years to be prepared. Yes, I'm ready.
Let's do this. All right, question number 1, sir. Do you, C.T. Fletcher, do you believe in the existence of extraterrestrial intelligence?
Yes.
A very simple yes. An emphatic yes from Mr. C.T. Fletcher. Moving on, question number 2. I'm sure you remember this.
I should say that I believe in the possibility, because fuck, we here. Right. What's so strange to believe it ain't motherfuckers on the other planet?
Exactly. Exactly. Question number 2, you might remember this incident, sir. Do you follow the official story, the official narrative, if you will, of the events of November 22nd, 1963? Of course, that is the day the President John Kennedy was assassinated, the official story being Lee Harvey Oswald did it with his rifle from the Texas School Book Depository with his 3 bullets. What say you, sir? Do you follow that story? Do you agree with that story?
Hell no.
Hell to the no. I'm with you there.
Yep. Hell to the no. Hell to the no.
Question number 3, sir, and then I will let you slide. A little bit more of a contemporary narrative, a little bit more newer.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Ooh. Okay, I got cut off for a minute there.
Oh,
Yeah.
see, we're talking conspiracy talk. NSA's after us already.
Yeah.
Let's wind this up. Question number 3, sir. Do you follow the narrative or the official story of the events of September the 11th, 2001? Of course, the official story being, the planes, hijackers, and then there's the conspiracy of, inside job type stuff, controlled demolitions of buildings.
I believe that our government knew a whole lot more about it than was publicly released. So, no, I don't believe I think that our government was well aware of the possibility of 9/11 before 9/11 happened. So I guess that's my answer.
Well, no, and there's information to tease that out. Presidential daily briefing saying, Osama bin Laden determined to attack the U.S. It's out there, ladies and gentlemen. Man, C.T. Fletcher, again, sir, thank you. I can't thank you enough, man, for coming on, for being you. I'm serious, and it sounds crazy because this planet is a better planet for having individuals like you on it. So please, sir, continue to do what you do. Man, I hope to get out to the IAG gym sometime, even if you're not there, just to get a workout in that bad boy. And yeah, man, I can't thank you enough. So you're an awesome person. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me, Jeff, and you'd be welcome in the Valley of the Beast anytime, man.
Yes, that would be fantastic. I'll bring my big bro with me, man. It would be epic. All right, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been C.T. Fletcher. Do you have any social media you want to throw out, websites, anything like that, sir, so people can follow you?
CTFletcher.com. And you guys know the Facebook and Instagram shit already. So.
He's not a hard man to find. He's everywhere. He's global, and he has been C.T. Fletcher. Thank you again so very much, sir. You take care of yourself.
Thank you, Jeff.
Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen.